Hi, this is Susan Block. Wanted to stop by today and talk to you about this new product that I'm kind of obsessed with playing with. It's by Deco Foil. It's the Metallix gel. This one is the white pearl, and I have dyed it with some of the Tailored Expressions Premium Dye Ink refill. I've done this before with other pastes, but I thought it would be really fun because this one has a pearl sheen to it. So I wanted to walk you through how I made that and how quick and simple it is. The first thing I wanted to show you is that I took some of the paste and I put it out with a, whatever your favorite spatula is. I like this one by Viva Decor. I like the middle. It's really thin and I can get, there's a lot of surface area here for this edge. So I scooped some out, put it out on my palette. This is just an old backer to a stamp set. Whatever you have, something that's non-porous. And then I just grab a little bit of the ink. I just put one little dab and I put it up top so that it's away from my paste. So I don't have to worry so much about getting too much of it, because the refills are pretty concentrated and just will dye your gel really quickly. So this is the guava, and the one I already mixed up over here on the left is the plum punch. So I just like those two colors together, and just to save time and so you didn't have to watch me mix, I already did the plum punch one, but just like you would maybe mixing up frosting or something like that. Just grab some, mix it until you get it the way you want it. And then the next thing that I love that came out with this release of the gel, and I'm gonna leave as much as I can behind here, is the new Pixie spray. It's a light tack for stencils, and I just love it. It has really changed the way that I use pastes and gels now. So it says on the back of the bottle to shake it really well. I did before the video, and then I always use what I have is just my little spray box where you take it and I spray my stencils, and it says to spray it about 12 inches above, and then you let it set for 1 minute until it starts to get tacky. I did all that before I started the video. So here is a piece of sugar cube cardstock, and I will take that. I like to take it and lay it on a piece of scratch paper. It kind of gives me a spot to get rid of the mess while it dries. I always put down just a little bit of whatever your adhesive is, just a smidge of it. It really helps just to hold down your cardstock when you want to get rid of that messy stencil. So here is my cardstock. Lay that on there. It doesn't need to be straight, but it helps me kind of straighten it up a little bit to line up my stencil. Line up my stencil. I do pay attention to these vertical lines here. It would be really obvious if you didn't have them straight. So lay that on there, press it down really, really well. And this Pixie spray really helps to keep it so that none of your gel or paste or whatever you're using gets under the stencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the guava that I mixed up with this pearl first, because that happens to be what's already on my stencil, on my palette knife. And I just like to put down a bunch of it and scrape. And I put it, just kind of get my product down first, and then I'll come back and kind of clean up. So put that down. So, and then I'm going to try to leave as much behind as possible if I want to use it for another project. I will clean off my palette knife quick. That's why it's nice to have some baby wipes when you're working with a product like this, just to keep your palette knife clean. Some more. Again, this is plum punch and guava. You could use like an ink pad to squish it down on whatever your, whatever your palette is that you're going to mix up your colors on. That works, but sometimes I start running out of places to smush and add more ink. So I really like using the Reinkers because, one, you can get a lot of color really quickly with them, and I don't have to worry about finding a spot when I have run out to add more color. So I have as much as I think I need down. I don't see any open spaces. And then what I do at the very end is take my palette knife and I just scrape lightly top to bottom. I'm gonna kind of get rid of the excess that comes up on my palette knife because it's gonna be mixed. but I don't press hard. I just want to press hard enough, and I see an empty spot right here. I just press hard enough just to see the top of my stencil starting to appear. So I don't scrape hard because I don't want to get down in those grooves where I want my little design. Just scrape real lightly across the top. Should just be able to hear the scrape. And that looks really good. So I'll set this aside. If I want to reuse this palette again, I got to make sure I clean it off. And then my favorite part, the reveal. And being as I put that tape down on the bottom underneath the cardstock, should be pretty easy to pull up my stencil because the paper is taped down, so it'll stay there. So peel that up. This then has to go in a bucket of water. And that, just until I'm done crafting, does just fine. Kind of just setting in some water does perfectly for me. Then I will set this aside to dry. Depending on how thick you put it down, an hour, 2 hours. I like to let it dry for quite a few, you know, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. I don't put it in an envelope at least for 24 hours though. I will take my palette knife and run it underneath my cardstock and between my cardstock and the scratch piece of paper. I like to do that because it just breaks off all these little edges that might be hanging off of the cardstock with that paste. It really helps a lot with that, and then you won't have any of those big chunky edges. So I will set this one aside. I do have one I did last night that's all dry that I can show you. So look at that shine, it's already showing up. This is one I did last night. This one I didn't put as much color into it, but I still really like it. This is the plum on top and this is the guava. So I did this one yesterday and it's totally dry. The other thing I like about this Metallix gel is it's flexible. It's not hard. Some of the pastes and stuff make your cardstock just kind of stiff. So I like that. So I wanted to walk you through how I actually put this together. This is Plum Punch cardstock and then Poppy Seed cardstock. And then this is my panel, of course, that we just made. I took a piece of vellum, cut it out with the Tailored Expression circle stitch dies, and I stamped hello from this stamp called Floral Frenzy. I stamped the hello in black, and with vellum you've got to give that some time to dry. So I stamped that and set it aside to dry. And then just to give it some lift, this would be a great opportunity to make this into a shaker, but that wasn't what I was going, that wasn't the look I was going for with this card. I just wanted the lift. So it got it away and kind of gave that shadow box look behind the hello. So I took the Tailored Expressions, this is how I store my dies, Tailored Expressions Stitched Frame Stack 2, the circle, and I cut a piece of white cardstock out of that one, and then I also cut it again from their double-sided adhesive foam sheets. I just love these. They really changed the ease of making shaker cards for me. I really like those. But again, like I said, for this one, I'm not gonna make it into a shaker card, but one of my first tips for you with making these is to go ahead and leave the foam that comes out of the middle of here, leave that intact. It'll help keep your circle just more stable, more sturdy. And I took a little bit of the backing, this is just on the outer ring, not that center piece. We're not even gonna use that at all. And I will just peel back just a smidge of that. And then don't forget, I almost did it, don't forget, first thing to go down is our stamped vellum circle. And that just gives you some time to make sure, is it straight? Yep, I like it. Then I can reach in and pull this backing part off. So I'll peel that off. Then we will take a little bit of Nuvo. This is my favorite liquid glue. I don't love using liquid glue, but this stuff has really changed my opinion. I do it a lot better with this stuff. I don't need to unclog the nozzle. I don't think I've ever had to do it, but I am really good about putting the lid on immediately before I set it down. But I really like that stuff. So put that down on top of there. That'll give me this part. And then we'll go ahead and get this backer out of here. Get that center part out. But it just really helped keep the stability of the circle for me. Get rid of that. And then, like I said, this is a well that you could have easily made into a shaker, but I'm not doing that for this project. That will go there. And then the flowers are from the TE Bloomers 5, and I cut them out of Plum Punch and Lavender Glaze. That is the flower that I used there. And then this greenery here is from Bloomer's Greenery, cut out of Granny Smith cardstock. And that is my card. That's how I created it. I hope you try out this new Deco Foil Metallix gel. I really think the possibilities with this white pearl are limitless and can be a lot of fun. And I just love the pearl shine. So thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.